Hey everybody, I'm here with Cami Téllez, the founder and CEO of Parade. Cami, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Steve.
So let's take it all the way back home. Tell me where you're from, where you grew up, and kind of what you were into back in the day.
Yeah, so both my parents are actually immigrants from Latin America, from Colombia, and they came here after a lot of the kind of civil wars that were happening in the late 90s. So I was born in Berkeley, California. I started working in startups when I was 17. I was really young. I started to, be really interested in frontier technology and understanding how people or communities were going to form online. For me, really, as I started investing in venture capital through college, I saw more and more this sort of emergence of brands that had an opportunity not to just be, redefine their industries from, a value chain perspective, but also rethink the way that, they're connecting with their customers around their values.
Wow.
And really, understanding how the customers want to vote with their dollars.
And you went from that and you said you were doing venture capital investing in college.
In college, at Columbia, yeah.
How did that go? Tell me how that even started and what that was like.
Yeah, I worked at General Catalyst at Rough Draft Ventures, which was investing in other students. And so, mentoring, working with them, worked at a few other venture capital funds, mostly focused on sort of the D2C wave that was happening in New York and understanding what the next generation of direct-to-consumer was going to look like. And so, I felt very lucky that I got to see a lot of different business models, understand, how early kind of companies work and crystallize and are formed. But I think at the end of the day, to me, I realized that the founders that ultimately break ground and I think change their industries are the ones that are on sort of a personal mission.
So you were a VC in Colombia, and your internships were kind of frontier technology.
Yeah.
How did you get into in retail, fashion, branding from kind of the AI frontier tech world?
I think I just jumped into the deep end. I had no experience in apparel. I think I had no experience really working for brands. I was really passionate about my own experience and growing up and going to the mall, going to Victoria's Secret, feeling like there was a fundamental, I would say, misalignment with the brand and the product story that they had created. So, for me, I was very lucky early on that I had a group of really strong, I would say, very innovative women around me from the likes of Lululemon and Nike, and a lot of them work at Parade now, that taught me a lot about how to create excellent product, and how to take, the fact that, I know the customer the best because I am the customer in so many ways, and really build a community-driven sort of product strategy that has ultimately allowed us to capture, 1% of the category.
When you're deciding on a company, you say okay, I'm going to go all in underwear. How do you decide this is my passion?
Yeah.
And also how do you start day one? How do you start researching any kind of market, especially for underwear? How do you get smart on the business?
Yeah, I saw a category that I think had so much more potential than I think the other kind of emerging brands in the space, and also had a few incumbent brands that were really ready to be disrupted. So for me, I think I really started with the customer and doing a lot of surveys, and we had a survey go viral when I was still in school, and 10,000 people filled it out in 24 hours, and we didn't even have a factory, but we promised them free underwear if they answered the survey, which is a promise we made good on. A year and a half later, I kind of just, I think, shoved myself into the LinkedIn inbox of other people in the space and knocked on doors until I had a really clear understanding of the supply chain part of the picture, which I think is infrastructure that's so critical to build both an excellent product but also a sustainable brand. A lot of those, the customer insights that we learned from that very first survey around how it is that women think about their underwear brands, their preferences, the way that they felt about the other brands in the space. I think it's really easy to build a brand that's relevant for 2 or 3 years, but to build a brand that's going to be relevant for 10, 15, 20 years, you start and end with listening to the customer.
As you kind of dove into this world of manufacturing and style and logistics, what has surprised you the most about the business?
So when I initially set out to build this business, I really thought I was going to be building it for women. And what we found out after kind of one of our first customer surveys that we did after the brand launched was that actually a percentage of our customer group was non-binary or male identifying. And that was so exciting to me, right? Because I wanted to build a brand that was global and democratic and was for everyone. And so we saw that, there was a true resonance for us to go, beyond just women's underwear. And so we've been working with our community over the past 2 years to build a gender neutral line, which is launching later this year. And we are so excited to kind of continue to understand where Parade is reaching people and how we can kind of continue to build product that allows them to express themselves.